ladies and gentlemen. Firstly, I would like to say that the opposition side came up here and haven't denied our problem, and still they haven't proposed any mechanism to solve our problem. They're not engaged in this debate. Now, before I move on to my substantive, let me state some misconceptions that came up from the opposition side. On the first rebuttal, they fail to acknowledge that the locals are the ones cutting down trees, and the big companies are the ones hiring them to cut down trees for them not to be seen as criminal to do illegal logging. How is that going to solve the problem when you don't even acknowledge that they are the ones cutting down trees, and by cutting down trees is going to lead to further problem to these people? And even if that is so, we still see that by giving education to the people is the only way to solve the problem, because they will acknowledge that they have to preserve their own land, and at the end of the day, they will develop into another level. Now, on the second rebuttal, they say that it is not a problem of the local people. They cannot say that because it is in the status quo that the local people are cutting down trees for land for them to plant cash crops, so that they can get money from that. And our proposal is going to solve that problem by willing to give them money to incentivize them not to cut down trees. And this money is going to replace the money they get from selling cash crops. And after that, when they get education, they'll be motivated by the education to stop cutting down trees. And even if that is not so, we still see that education is the only way to solve this problem. Now, on my third rebuttal, we said the demand of the company is still there. We say that yes, we agree that the demand of the company is still there. That's why we propose that what we have to do is to plant farm trees in order to fulfill their needs. Now, we see that they fail to understand that the demand is going to be fulfilled by planting farm trees. Now, on my fourth rebuttal, they question us where the money is going to come from. We see that when the EU help assist these developing nations, they can get carbon credit so that they are the one relying on industry, and that they can develop their industry and develop trade into another level. So now we detect an assumption coming up from the opposition side, telling how McDonald's have their own farm, and talking about that. We see that is not related to our case, and that is not to engage in this debate. Now, moving on to my argument about why it is going to take environmental conservation to another level. I have 4 levels of analysis to provide to you today. On my first level of analysis, what is the EU role? We said the EU's role in this debate is the responsibility to assist the developing nations. And they are here to assist the developing nations on how they can give the money to incentivize these people to get the education and know at the end of the day that it is going to lead to more harm. Now, they're the main carbon emitters, so they have to take action in here to make up what they did to the world. And we see that they are the developed one. They are the one have to help the sister nations. Now, moving on to my second level of analysis, conference in environment movement. In the previous environmental conference in Copenhagen, we see that it failed. The conference failed because the developing nations denied to help the developing nations. Denied to help the developed nations. Why? Because they say that they are going to be that the developed nations are going to cheat on them. That the developed nations are going to focus on economy and let them be the one helping the environment. So we see that by assisting them, they are going to trust in the developed nations, and now our world is going to step up together into another level, ladies and gentlemen. Moreover, Kyoto Protocol is going to expire in 2012. So that is the justification of why we have to do this now, of why we have to incentivize these developing nations to help us right now. Before I move on to my third level of analysis, I would like to take on POI.
You said we haven't proposed a mechanism, but my first speaker did.
But they haven't proven to us how is that mechanism is going to solve the problem we stated. Because we see that they didn't deny our problem, so they are going to debate in our debate, but they failed to engage to solve in our problem. Now, moving on to my third level of analysis, by EU funding the project is going to fulfill the role of EU. The role of EU in this debate is to assist the developing nations, and they have to promote the trust in the developing nations, to trust in the developed nations and move forward together. Now, they are the main carbon emitters, so that they have to take action in helping the world, because we see that when they emit a large amount of carbon, they have to solve the problem with their full potential in order to sustain the world. Now, they are the one relying on the industry. So that is the justification of why EU is going to incentivize these developing nations, because they rely on industry, so they need the carbon credit. And how is the carbon credit going to come? First, they can come when you decrease the amount of carbon you are going to emit. And second, the carbon credit is going to increase when you fund into project in taking an action to help the world. So we said in the second point, they are going to fund these projects in helping these people, educate them, incentivize them, make them believe us that they have to do this in order to help themselves and help the world. So we said this is the only way, and this is the responsibility of the EU to help the local people in the developing nations step into another level. Now, on my fourth level of analysis, when countries trust in EU, it is going to take the environmental conservation to the next level. The EU wants to help the people. They want to protect the people. They want to acknowledge the people that there are going to be worst case coming if they still continue in cutting the trees. We said landslide can come, flood can come, and after that, when the diversity is discriminated, it is going to lead to the instability of the environment. So it is going to slow down the process of helping developed nations. So if we do this, it is going to slow down the process of global warming. And why do we want to slow down the process of global warming? Because we see that EU has to do this, have to assist the nation, and by slowing down, it is going to help the world as a whole. So with all of these reasons, I've told you that they failed to tackle our case, they failed to engage in our case, and we have told them how is their case not relevant to our case, to the debate. And we have provided to you why EU is the one having to do this. With all these reasons, I proudly beg to oppose. Thank you very much.
The speaker spoke for